Imagine your wedding night. Your husband does not come home. You find out he slept with his ex-girlfriend while you were waiting in your wedding dress. You cry. He begs. You forgive him because you are now married. Fast forward 12 years. You have 2 children. You work a low-paying job. Then you find out he has been sleeping with your own cousin. And yet, you do not pack your bags. You stay. When I heard this story from a woman reaching out for help, people in the comments called her weak. They called her foolish. But they missed the brutal truth. I have analyzed thousands of broken marriages, and the reason women endure this level of cruelty is rarely about love. It is about the most ruthless dictator in a marriage: money. Do not blame the man just yet. We all know he is toxic. Let us look at the mirror. Look at the low salary. Look at the lack of a house. Look at the fear of seeing your children starve. Today, we are tearing down the illusion of love to expose the financial handcuff in toxic marriages. You do not lack the courage to file for divorce. You lack the cash. If you are ready to face the uncomfortable truths about relationships and personal power, take a second to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Like and share this with a woman who needs to hear it, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We need to build a community of strong minds. Now, let us dissect why financial dependence is the ultimate prison. Society judges the woman who stays. They ask why she does not just leave. But society does not pay the rent. Society does not buy groceries for 2 growing children. When your paycheck barely covers the electric bill, your abuser knows exactly what he is doing. He is not just cheating. He is keeping you financially paralyzed. He gives you a tiny allowance for food, keeping the rest of his income to himself. He knows you cannot afford a lawyer. He knows you cannot afford first and last month rent for a new apartment. This is not a marriage. This is an economic hostage situation. Let us look at the ultimate betrayal in this story. He did not just cheat with a stranger. He slept with her cousin. In-depth psychology. Carl Jung teaches us about the shadow, the darkest, most repressed parts of the human psyche. When a man crosses the bloodline of his own wife, he is not just fulfilling a physical urge. He is asserting absolute dominance. He is sending a subconscious message: I can desecrate your family, and you still will not leave me. And the tragic part, he is right. Because her bank account agrees with him. I hear this justification every single day from women across America. I am staying for the kids. Let us be brutally honest. You are not staying for the kids to have a father figure. What father figure sleeps with their aunt? You are staying because the average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in a safe school district is over $2,000. You are staying because childcare will eat your entire paycheck. You are staying because health insurance tied to his job is the only thing keeping your children covered if they get sick. This is the modern survival mechanism. You trade your dignity for groceries. You trade your dignity for groceries. But here is the stoic truth you must confront today. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, faced betrayal, and wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Your revenge is not confronting the cousin. Your revenge is not yelling at him until you lose your voice. Your revenge is building an exit strategy in absolute silence. Right now, the fear of poverty is greater than the pain of his betrayal. That is normal. Your nervous system is designed to keep you alive, not happy. But living in a constant state of hypervigilance, sharing a bed with a man who despises you enough to sleep with your blood relative, is a slow death. The stress hormone cortisol is flooding your veins daily. It will age you. It will break down your immune system. You are paying for this financial security with your physical health. Stop lying to yourself. You are not protecting your children by staying. You are teaching them. You are giving your daughter a masterclass in how to tolerate abuse. You are handing your son a blueprint on how to disrespect women. The American Psychological Association has the data. Children who grow up in homes with covert emotional and financial abuse do not turn out fine just because both parents live under the same roof. They develop chronic anxiety. They attract toxic partners in their 20s because you normalized toxicity in their formative years. Let us look at the math. The average cost of raising a child in the United States is roughly $240,000 before they even hit college. When you realize this, paralysis sets in. You look at your checking account and see a few $100s. You look at the rent prices in your county. Panic takes over. The economy is harsh. The system makes single motherhood terrifying. But the alternative is dying a slow, miserable death next to a man who mocks your existence by sleeping with your cousin. This is where we apply practical philosophy. The ancient Stoics did not just sit around thinking, they were relentless strategists. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This financial trap is your friction. Do not confront him today. Confrontation without leverage is just emotional noise. He expects you to cry. He expects you to scream. He expects you to eventually calm down and fold his laundry because you have absolutely no other choice. It is time to stop playing his game. You need a ghost strategy, a silent, calculated exit plan. Tomorrow, you do not ask for a divorce. You ask for a raise at work. You start a side hustle on your phone while he is asleep. You open a secret bank account at a completely different institution. Every $20 you save is a brick in the wall of your new sanctuary. You smile, you nod, and you quietly build your escape route in the shadows. He controls the household money, but he does not control your intellect. Carl Jung spoke about integrating the shadow. Right now, your shadow contains your anger, your resentment, and your raw survival instinct. Stop suppressing it. Use that dark energy. Channel the absolute rage of being betrayed on your wedding night into relentless, cold calculation. When he leaves to see another woman, do not weep. Open your laptop. Research high-income skills. The internet has democratized wealth in America. You do not need his permission to build a digital income stream. You just need the discipline to stay quiet until you are ready to strike. Do not announce your departure. The fatal mistake most women make is letting their ego dictate their timeline. You want to win the argument tonight. You want to see the look of panic on his face when you declare you are done. But survival requires you to win the war. And wars are won in absolute silence. When you stop arguing, he will think he has finally broken you. He will assume you have accepted your place at the bottom of his hierarchy. Let him think exactly that. Your emotional withdrawal is your greatest camouflage. Carl Jung taught us that where love rules, there is no will to power. Your husband is operating purely on the will to power. Stop feeding his ego with your tears. Every time he tries to provoke a reaction, look at him not as a partner, but as a temporary obstacle you are systematically dismantling. It takes immense mental resilience to cook dinner for a man you are secretly planning to leave. It feels like hypocrisy. It is not. It is strategy. You are an operative in hostile territory. Gather your documents, birth certificates, Social Security cards, tax returns, passwords. Move them to a secure location he does not know exists. If you need a burner phone, get one. Treat this like an extraction mission, because that is precisely what it is. You are extracting yourself and your children from an economic hostage situation. Epictetus warned us that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. You are terrified of the unknown. You are terrified of the stigma of being a single mother, of navigating the ruthless family court system, of the sheer physical exhaustion of starting over. But look at your current reality. You are already exhausted. You are already navigating a living nightmare. You are already surviving the worst-case scenario. The only difference is, right now, your suffering only profits him. It is time your suffering profits your future. Think about the day you finally hand him the papers. Not with rage, not with screaming, but with the cold, absolute certainty of a woman who has bought back her freedom. You will walk out of that door and the air will taste different. You will turn the key to your own apartment, even if it is small, even if it is just a one-bedroom, and you will sleep deeply for the first time in a decade, because that peace will belong entirely to you. Nobody can cheat on you in a house that you pay for. If this reality check woke you up, hit the subscribe button. We do not do toxic positivity here. We build mental armor. Share this with a woman who is secretly plotting her escape. She needs to know she is not crazy, she is just preparing. Drop the word silence in the comments if you are committing to the ghost strategy today. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Your financial dependence is not your fate. It is an unconscious choice you made years ago to prioritize illusionary peace over actual power. Now you must make the conscious choice to reclaim that power. He will notice the shift in your energy the moment you stop fighting. Narcissists possess a predatory radar for emotional withdrawal. When the screaming stops, when you stop begging for his attention or demanding answers about your cousin, he will not feel relief. He will feel a profound loss of control. He will initiate the recalibration phase. Suddenly, he might buy you flowers. He might suggest a family dinner. He might even apologize crying on the edge of the bed for mistakes he made in the past. Do not fall for it. This is not remorse. This is him testing the fences of his psychological prison to see if the electric current is still active. He needs to know he can still trigger you. Your primary defense mechanism is becoming a gray rock. You become as uninteresting, as unresponsive, and as dull as a gray rock. When he asks about your day, you give him nothing but "it was fine." When he tries to provoke an argument, you simply nod and walk away. Starve him. Starve him of your tears, your anger, and your explanations. Silence is the most deafening sound to a man who thrives on your emotional dysregulation. As you starve his ego, you feed your mind. You open that laptop. I hear the excuses already. You think you are too old to navigate this digital landscape. You feel like a relic every time your kids talk about apps and platforms. That is an illusion. Mastering a smartphone, a laptop, or a new software program to start a side business is not as hard as you think. It is simply a tool, a weapon for your liberation. Step into the digital economy, freelance writing, virtual assistants, e-commerce. Age is a fabricated barrier designed to keep you exactly where you are, dependent and terrified. Society conditions women to forgive and forget. Stand by your man. Keep the family together for the children. Let us dismantle this social trap. True grace does not require you to be a sacrificial lamb on the altar of a man's infidelity. Forgiveness is an internal process of letting go of your own bitterness. It does not equal reconciliation. You can fully forgive a man for destroying your marriage while changing the locks on a new apartment in a completely different zip code. Every dollar you earn in the shadows is a brick in the wall of your new sanctuary. You must be meticulous. Do not leave browser tabs open. Do not leave bank statements in the mail. If he controls the Wi-Fi router, use a cellular hotspot. You are an operative behind enemy lines. The hardest part is not making the money. The hardest part is maintaining the mask. Serving dinner to a man who violated your bloodline requires the discipline of a Spartan general. Seneca taught that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. You are imagining the financial horror of the divorce process. Look at the reality you are currently sitting in. You are already in the nightmare. The only difference is that right now, your suffering only profits his ego. It is time to make your suffering profit your future. What happens when he inevitably finds out? What happens when your ghost strategy is exposed before you are fully ready to pull the trigger? He will escalate. He will threaten to take the kids. He will threaten to destroy your reputation. You need a contingency protocol, and you need to understand the exact psychology of a cornered abuser.